As the dense fog blanketed the gaslit streets of London, Detective Evelyn Grant stepped out of her carriage, her breath forming ghostly shapes in the cold night air. The cobbled pathway gleamed under the flickering lanterns, each corner of the city whispering secrets untold. "Detective Grant," a constable greeted, tipping his hat. "Chief Inspector Miller is waiting for you at the scene." Evelyn nodded, her keen eyes scanning the fog, as if expecting something to emerge from its shrouded depths. She followed the constable to a grand, ivy-covered mansion, its imposing figure almost swallowed by the mist. Inside, a sense of dread loomed as servants whispered among themselves, casting worried glances at a lavish drawing room. On the ornate rug laid another victim, Sir Harold Montague, his sightless eyes staring into the abyss. Carved deeply into his chest were the same cryptic symbols that had been gracing the bodies of other prominent figures. "Evelyn," Chief Inspector Miller approached, his brow furrowed. "It's the fourth one this month. Same symbols, same brutality." Evelyn crouched beside the lifeless body, her fingers tracing the symbols without touching the skin. "These marks," she murmured, "they're more than just random carvings. They tell a story. Have there been any leads on the symbols?" "Dr. Whitmore says they resemble ancient runes. Rumors point towards a cult, something about an old revenge myth," Miller explained. Evelyn's eyes darkened with intrigue. "Tell me more." As they walked through the fading grandeur of the mansion, Miller recounted the legend. Centuries ago, Eliza Whitford, a healer of renown, was accused of witchcraft and executed unjustly. Her followers, who formed the clandestine Circle of the Raven, vowed to avenge her by calling forth her vengeful spirit. It was said that every few decades the cult would resurface, their goal singular: to punish the descendants of those who wronged Eliza. "Her spirit? They say she walks the alleys, seeking retribution," Miller added, his voice barely above a whisper. Back at her quarters, Evelyn pored over old texts and police reports late into the night. Symbols, rituals, genealogies, the pieces began to merge into a coherent yet horrifying picture. Each victim had ancestral ties back to the town officials, the very men who wronged Eliza Whitford. It was no coincidence. It was a meticulously planned retribution. One name caught her eye: Lord Henry Whitford, the descendant of Eliza's sister, living just on the outskirts of London. If anyone held the key, it was him. As dawn broke, Evelyn's mind raced with the implications. She gathered her things, determination etched on her features. Lord Henry awaited her arrival with a guarded expression. His mansion, though lavish, seemed gloomier than the fog outside. Evelyn did not mince her words. "Lord Henry, I believe you know about the Circle of the Raven." Henry's face paled. "I'd hoped they wouldn't return in my lifetime. My family has tried to distance ourselves, but the past is a relentless shadow." "They're targeting descendants," Evelyn said. "If there's any knowledge you have, anything to stop this cycle, you need to tell me." He led her to an attic filled with relics and dust-covered tomes. Among them, an aged manuscript detailed the summoning of Eliza's spirit and the process to reverse the curse. It required a confrontation, a plea at Eliza's final resting place, to break the chain of vengeance. Night fell again, as Evelyn ventured to the decrepit graveyard where Eliza was buried. Shadows twisted and turned with the movements of unseen eyes. The air grew colder, each breath now a struggle. Evelyn felt the weight of history pressing upon her, the rustle of long-dead leaves an eerie lullaby. Before her stood an ancient tomb marked by the same symbols. Evelyn dropped to her knees, carving a new mark with trembling hands, an offering of peace. She whispered into the night, calling out the spirit. "Eliza Whitford, I come not as your enemy, but as one seeking justice, a truth to end this bloodshed." The wind howled, and a translucent figure emerged, eyes aflame with grief and rage. Evelyn's heart pounded, but she held her ground. "Eliza," she continued, "the people you punish are the innocent souls of today. End this cycle of sorrow." The spirit of Eliza paused, her fiery gaze softening. The tomb trembled as she raised a spectral hand, tracing the new symbol. Slowly, her form dissipated into the mist, leaving an eerie calm. Evelyn stood, the weight of ages lifting from her shoulders. The cycle had ended. As she walked away from the graveyard, a new dawn broke, the fog retreating as if ushered away by unseen hands. London's dark history had been reconciled, and the streets, though still cobbled and ancient, exuded an air of peaceful resolution. Evelyn Grant had faced the vengeful past and emerged victorious.